Special Edition.
India, good evening. You're watching Times Now. My name is Pranesh Roy. Thanks for joining me here on the special edition of the Newshour. Once again, there is a political war of words which has erupted over new parliament building. This after Congress's Jairam Ramesh slammed the new parliament building where the special session was held, said this was the Modi Multiplex or the Modi Marriot. His words, not mine. Taking to social media, the Congress leader said that he witnessed the death of confabulations and conversations both inside the two houses and in lobbies. Continuing his attack, Jairam Ramesh claimed that the halls of the new parliament building are not cozy or compact and one needed binoculars to see each other in the complex. After he made this statement, other party colleagues came in support of him, echoing similar sentiments. Before we go any further, let's sample what they said.
I think it's an opinion that he has espoused, and there are many people writing about the new parliament. Some journalists have written articles on how conversations are not just difficult, but they're very dark alleys also, lots of places which are not very ventilated by light and air. So I think there are multiple issues with the new parliament, but I think building a parliament is one thing, but the parliament in its first sitting witnessing a ruling party member hurl the abuses based on religion for another member of parliament dims everything that you wanted to do with the new parliament.
Well, I think Jairam ji has said the right thing when I have not been to the parliament, and when you look at it, it looks like the speaker is sitting on a throne and people, the public is down there. That's the sort of look one gets. There was no need to shift from the other building to this. I mean, if the constitution is not followed day by day, and if the parliament this is the 17th Lok Sabha, I think it has functioned more than around 240 days, if I'm not wrong, 235 days. It's one of the lowest. What's the point of having a parliament building if it's not functioning and Modi hardly comes to that parliament building?
एक तो भारत जैसे देश में पूरी तरह से पार्लियामेंट हाउस को एयर कंडीशन कर देना अव्यवहारिक, अवैज्ञानिक, सोच समझ के पुरानी पार्लियामेंट में बाहर लॉबी रखी गई थी, सेंट्रल हॉल रखा गया था. इसमें तो ऐसा लगता है सबको पेड़े में कैद कर दिया गया है. सेंट्रल हॉल ही मिसिंग है. दूसरा सबसे बड़ी बात जो है उसमें एयर सर्कुलेशन का शायद डिफेक्ट है. तीसरा जो उसकी कुर्सी मेज है उसके बीच की दूरी बहुत ज्यादा है. मोदी जी ज्यादा प्रभावित है अमेरिका से, तो एक 7 स्टार होटल की तरह से बनाया है, सुविधाएं दी हैं.
The BJP hit back at the Congress for criticizing the new temple of democracy. The BJP called the Congress anti-parliament. In fact, BJP chief JP Nadda led the attack from the BJP, invoked the emergency and said Congress was anti-parliament, is anti-parliament. Sample the reactions.
जो संसद बनी है ये ट्रू भाषा में मेड इन इंडिया है. जयराम रमेश जो राहुल गांधी के बहुत नजदीकी हैं और मीडिया विभाग के हेड, उन्होंने क्या कहा है, इसे मोदी मल्टीप्लेक्स या मोदी मैरियट कहा जाना चाहिए. क्या मतलब है इसका? भारत की संसद को कांग्रेस पार्टी के मीडिया के प्रमुख ऐसे अपमानित करेंगे? जयराम रमेश, you have got no right to insult India's parliament by saying all this. Shameful, condemnable.
People like Jairam Ramesh and the old guard would not understand the new India at all. I mean, they built on a basic premise that India has to be corrupt. Nothing can happen in India. What has happened in the past 9.5 years is virtual revolution. And that is reflected in the new parliament. We need better facilities. Yes, old parliament is a magnificent building. It will always be there. But we need a new way of thinking. And that, I think, the new parliament reflects a new way of thinking, which is very business-like in the sense that we are here to deliver.
It's unfortunate, but now the Congress party and its senior leaders have made this a habit. And what is to be noted is the use of the word cozy. It almost seemed that the Congress party is upset that such a beautiful and large parliament has been made by someone who's not from the Nehru Gandhi family. So one can understand there's a difference of the model, and perhaps the Congress party and its leaders are upset. Additionally, one finds it interesting to note that they almost seem to be on a branding exercise for private entities. Today they've named a hotel chain. Earlier they named an industrialist. The same industrialist who is welcomed by the Rajasthan government with a red carpet.
Let's open this up without any delay. Sanju Verma, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Manish Bariyar, political analyst, Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress Party, Vivek Sailas, of the national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, completes the panel. Lokesh Jindal, and I'm reading from, Jairam Ramesh's tweet. In the old building, if you were lost, you would find your way back. Again, since it was circular. In the new building, if you lose your way, you are lost in a maze. भाई ये तो कहीं भी कुछ नया होता है तो it takes time to figure out the distance. The sheer joy of simply hanging out in Parliament has disappeared. I used to look forward to going to the old building. What is this? Is juvenile criticism?
Well, Pranesh, there is a dialogue in Lage Raho Munna Bhai movie where Sanjay Dutt says कि मकान बड़े हो गए लेकिन दिल छोटे हो गए, देश तो अपना हो गया लेकिन लोग पराए हो गए. अब इतने बड़े विशाल संसद के अंदर जो हुआ वो कितना घृणित और कितना गलत था. It showed the pain. I mean, the words with which Jairam Ramesh has expressed the pain, they have to be considered. This new huge building with such a huge premises, it is devoid of any democratic feeling which the old parliament had. Let me give you one instance. In 1960s, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia used to be very fat. And once he was addressing the parliament, and then to reply to one of the parliamentarians, he turned his back to the speaker. The speaker objected. So in a humorous manner, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia stated, Honorable Speaker, as you can see, I am round, so I do not have a front and the back. And the entire parliament burst into laughter and there were claps. I mean, there was a bonhomie amongst all parliamentarians. There was some sort of a standard. There was an ethical conduct within which the parliamentary procedure used to take place. There was a humor in every parliamentarian's objection also. And things were taken lightly. But look at the manner in which Mr. Bidhuri, he has crossed all limits. Is this the parliament that we aspire for?
No, so are you opposing to the design because of what Mr. Bidhuri has said? What Mr. Bidhuri has said, nobody in any form of, building, any shape, any structure, anywhere in the country or outside should say. There's nothing civil about what he said. Not one word.
So,
but what's that got to do? No, 1 minute, Mr. Jindal. Jairam Ramesh is calling it Modi Multiplex, Modi Marriot. This is a temple of democracy. You can have problem with the shape and size. I can understand that, Congress party has less MPs, so you can, lose your way. कि कोई मिल ही नहीं रहा है अपना, familiar नहीं है, तो you don't know which hall you are in.
मंदिर वो जहां हरी रहे. अब भाई जब लोकतंत्र ही नहीं है तो वो संसद काहेगा.
लोकतंत्र नहीं है.
बात बताइए. नहीं, जिस तरह से रमेश बिधूरी जी ने वक्तव्य किया है, जिस तरह से उन्होंने
Mr. Jindal, what Ramesh Bidhuri has said is condemnable. How is this criticism of the parliament by calling it Modi Multiplex got to do with what Ramesh Bidhuri said?
I mean, why hasn't?
Okay, now let me ask you this. Sanju Verma, I'm coming to you. I'm just 1 minute. 8 minutes.
Has he been suspended yet?
Lokesh Jindal, are you saying that Mr. Jairam Ramesh is not erudite enough? अगर उनको बिधूरी का मेंशन करना होता तो लिख देते ना ट्वीट में. He wouldn't have left it for you to articulate it here.
Jairam Ramesh ji said the right thing. He stated that devoid of the spirit of democracy.
Okay. Now Sanju
the
Verma,
infrastructure only
right. Let me bring in Sanju Verma.
Displays magnanimity.
We've heard
of
the charge.
One individual.
Let's hear from the BJP. Now Sanju Verma, he began by a dialogue from the film Munna Bhai MBPS. I remember another one.
No, Lage Raho Munna Bhai.
Lage Raho Munna Bhai. Lage Raho Munna Bhai में वो मुन्ना भाई MBBS आई थिंक, आई डोंट रिमेंबर विच वन,
नहीं
बट
मुन्ना
उसमें
भाई MBBS पहले का था।
हाँ, वो पहले वाला ही बता रहा हूँ, अभी उसी में जा रहा हूँ, आई रिमेम्बर।
दूसरा वाला लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई।
अरे जो भी है लोकेश जी, सुन तो लीजिए, भावनाओं को समझिए, सुनिए। उसमें
अच्छा,
यह है कि अगर कोई बाहर कैजुअलिटी में मरने को है तो उसका फॉर्म भरना जरूरी है क्या? संजू वर्मा, डू यू थिंक बिकॉज द कांग्रेस इज इन ऑपोजिशन इट हैज बिकम अ कंपल्सिव क्रिटिक?
You know, I am now entering into the debate 10 minutes down the line. I have not heckled Lokesh. I'm sure he will extend the courtesy to me. I don't want to get into this bachkana debate about Munna Bhai, lage raho, blah, blah. I want to say that, you know, this has been a historic week. After 27 long and painful years, Narendra Modi ने वो कर दिखाया जो HD देवेगौड़ा नहीं कर पाए, इवन जो बीजेपी के महान नेता अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी नहीं कर पाए, जो सोनिया गांधी नहीं कर पाई. फाइनली नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम, द विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल इज अ रियलिटी टुडे with a thumping majority of 454 versus 2 in the favor of the bill in the Lok Sabha and 214 versus 0 in favor of the bill in Rajya Sabha. So Modi Sarkar has been able to forge a consensus. आप कुछ भी करते रहिए, criticize करते रहिए. I always believe, and I have said this on a zillion debates, you are a good leader only if you can execute ideas and transform them into actionable ideas, more importantly on the ground. Otherwise, एक बहुत बड़ा idea आपके पास है, but it just continues to be a flaky castle in the air if you are not able to bring warring parties together, which Narendra Modi has done. So, sir, congratulations to you. I feel very happy as an empowered woman. Thank you so much. Now, coming to the crux of the debate. You know, forget what Jairam Ramesh said. Though, of course, we are debating what he said, so that is, you know, something that I will elaborate and deliberate upon, Pranesh. But have you noticed the trend? When in 2018, the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue was built at Kevadia, 597 feet tall statue of unity, कांग्रेस के पेट में दर्द हो गया. अरे इसकी क्या जरूरत थी? This is a waste of money. Whereas today it has become a money churner in terms of the tourist inflows that it attracts. Point number 1. Point number 2. मुझे याद है जब last year the greatest 11th century Hindu philosopher Sant Ramanujacharya का statue was inaugurated in Hyderabad. You know, the same Congress party said उनके पेट में वापस दर्द हो गया. अरे भाई साहब, ये statue बनाने की क्या जरूरत थी? Now we are building a 350 feet tall statue of Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar at Dadar in Mumbai, and Congress never even bothered to acquire the basic land to build the statue. ये लोग हर डिबेट में आकर अंबेडकर की दुहाई देते हैं, वापस कांग्रेस के पेट में दर्द हो गया. They keep, you know, invoking Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, but thanks to the double engine Sarkar, then of Devendra Fadnavis and Narendra Modi, and today of the Eknath Shinde-led faction in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and Prime Minister Modi, that you will have a 696 feet tall statue right in the middle of the Arabian Sea, you know, in a couple of years. And most importantly, baat karte hain abhi, forget about statues which have been built or are being built to honor our icons and our legacy figures. I want to ask the Congress, why is it that the Congress repeatedly in the High Court and repeatedly in the Supreme Court said Central Vista project, new parliament building, is a waste of time? Jabki, in the past in 2012, Jairam Ramesh, can I please finish, Lokesh? In the past in 2012, Pranesh, Jairam Ramesh, people like Meera Kumar, in 1986-87, the then MOS home, Chintamani Panigrahi, when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, said that the current existing, as in now the old parliament building, is not safe and secure. But the moment Narendra Modi ka thappa lag gaya Central Vista project par, the moment Narendra Modi ka thappa lag gaya new parliament building par, the moment Supreme Court repeatedly rejected every petition sponsored by the Congress and said that this is a monument of national importance, कांग्रेस के पेट में फिर से उबाल आ गया. I will just end by saying one thing, you know, and please bear with me for just 20 seconds, Pranesh, and I'm sure Lokesh also. In 2013, on the floor of the parliament, the then Vice President Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, in response to an RTI query, said today, as in 2013, और अभी भी कुछ बदला नहीं है, कांग्रेस की मानसिकता तो वही है. I, me, myself, मतलब राहुल गांधी, प्रियंका वाड्रा, जीजाजी, सोनिया गांधी, बस ये चारों के अलावा कांग्रेस is a private limited company. ये सारे जानते हैं ना.
No, I mean, please, listen, Sanju, listen.
No. 1 minute. Let me bring in the others now. Let me bring in the others. Let me bring in the others. Manish Bariyar has been listening intently. Vivek Silas, आपसे जानना चाहता हूं. I'm sure you must have seen Jairam Ramesh's tweet. I mean, when people say that the building is not cozy or compact, I feel claustrophobic, the sheer joy of hanging out. And on these things, should one call it Modi Marriot or the Modi Multiplex?
Is the question to me, Pranesh?
No. This is for Vivek Silas.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, good evening to all of you and the viewers. What Mr. Jairam Ramesh said cannot be fully denied. What he said, I saw his tweet. He said it's a multiplex of the Honorable Prime Minister. I think somewhat it is, definitely. It all started when the Honorable President was not invited for the inauguration of the Parliament House, and she was deprived of that. She was not even invited during the religious ceremonies held there. It is definitely a multiplex of the Prime Minister. It seems he feels as if he owns it. Till yesterday, the leaders could, use foul language outside the Parliament. But today, if we see, they very conveniently, without any fear, the Bharatiya Janata Party MP can abuse anyone inside the Parliament as if he is sitting in his own drawing room or his living room. They have made it like that, and we feel it.
No, Mr. Silas, transgressions have happened in the past also. I'm not saying two wrongs, make a right, but just to put it in context, why blame the new building for what Ramesh Bidhuri said? Building की क्या गलती है?
सही बोला आपने.
नहीं, buildings की कोई गलती नहीं है, but what I want to know, I was just listening to the bites of the Bharatiya Janata Party prominent leaders, what Prime Minister Modi said about India, that he compared India to Indian Mujahideen, he compared India to East India Company. What Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad just said, I just saw. No, he said the Parliament is made in India. Mr. K.L. Alphonse, the Bharatiya Janata Party leader, said it is new India. It is new India.
It is a terror organization. Is the Indian Mujahideen a terror organization? Yes or no?
Sanju ji, please, I didn't tackle you. It was said by the Honorable Prime Minister. Please.
No. Mr. Silas, Vivek ji, no, 1 minute.
I just want to say.
No, I understand what the comment you're referring to, but the context was the Prime Minister was referring to Indian Mujahideen.
Exactly. आपके पेट में दर्द हो गया क्योंकि आपको तो बहुत.
Let him make his point. Sanju Verma, let Vivek ji make his point.
Pranesh ji, you just now said that the Parliament is a temple of democracy. Definitely it is. But you cannot abuse the heritage of India. It's not abusing a particular community. Inside the parliamentary, if you are using such language and such words, it is abuse to the heritage of India inside the Parliament. A heritage that was laid down by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. It was carried forward by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and great leader like Atal Bihari Vajpayee as well.
Sun lijiye, sir. You are talking about heritage. Sengol was not part of our heritage.
That is why.
Sengol was slandered, ridiculed, called names. Where did heritage go then? We had forgotten about our heritage, culture, everything. Have you forgotten about the commentary around Sengol?
Oh.
Mr. Bariyar, what's going on?
No.
What
happened inside the
good evening,
Parliament?
Pranesh, my co-panelist, as well as the viewers. See, the opposition doesn't have any issue. It's a complete non-issue. It also shows a very elitist mindset of Mr. Jairam Ramesh. Right, he talking about Marriott, he talking about air condition and stuff like that. This is coming from, surprisingly, from a person who would be spending 22 hours of his, whole day in an AC. I have seen several of these leaders actually coming out on road and perspiring. So it's a double standard, it's a hypocrisy. and there's no, there's nothing to say for him. Now, let's come to the major issue. This parliament is a very futuristic building, right? We know that, in a couple of years' time, delimitation exercise is going to happen. The number of seats are going to grow. And we all understand that everybody knows, you ask any parliamentarian, they would say that the old building didn't have any more seats to really accommodate. Where would you put all the new parliamentarians? So it was keeping in mind. It was also keeping in mind that people have talked so much about that how it would really ensure that the parliament business proceedings are done properly. And that is what the focus should be. Rather than talking about policies, rather than, whether it is foreign policy or domestic policies, you find one Rajkumar is basically on railway station, right? Till how long you will do this? Now somebody is 51-year-old, right? Will you keep doing these photo sessions, or would you also sit and talk about policy issue? Will you keep attacking, scoot and run away, or would you talk something very substantial which will be good for the country? You don't say anything which a government would really respond in a meaningful way. You keep talking about frivolous things. So, and which is why we are discussing something which is unfortunately very frivolous. That what kind of a parliament? We all rever, and now it is a Sansad Bhavan, right? We have given due respect to the old parliament, but a new thing gives old, to the old, gives way to the old. So old has to, people do move on. So while it is good for sentiment, it is good for our history. We cannot just keep looking to the past for the future.
Nehru's famous speech had that part. That we must Absolutely. Now, the old must make way for the new.
Pranesh, I myself appalled with the kind of low talk and serious issues. It's a great country. They should have really talked about substantial issues and not keep diverting attention on smaller issues.
Lokesh Jindal has his hand up. Lokesh Jindal, if Jairam Ramesh has such a problem and if others in the Congress have a problem, they should just stand in the lawn. Open air लीजिए, अंदर अगर claustrophobic लग रहा है तो.
Well, Pranesh, the entire building edifice has been constructed from the people's taxpayers' money. It is supposed to serve the function of democratic deliberations. It is not some form of a private investment. And if in such an edifice, if such a structure, the democratic deliberations do not take place, tell me, what exactly is this structure symbolizing?
Mr. Jindal, you're not understanding the problem. I'll tell you what. When I say that, people who feel claustrophobic should stand outside, I'm using it as a metaphor. I'm not asking your leaders to stand outside. That's not the thing. Then how will the parliament function? I'm not encouraging boycott here. All I want to say is when Jairam Ramesh, says things like this in his tweet, that, I keep losing my way. Colleagues we have to use binoculars to spot each other. I mean, should we be getting into these things?
Well, Pranesh, I think there is a parliamentary affairs committee. There is a complete, I'm so sorry, there is a complete set of secretariat in the parliament itself, which looks after all the day-to-day affairs. And I think all the views and opinions of Mr. Jairam Ramesh must be considered.
Okay. Sanju Verma, what will you do? What will you do to ensure that Jairam Ramesh does not feel claustrophobic? I have last 1 minute for you.
Okay. I just want to, say one thing. I don't know if the other panelists know or not. Look at the minute detailing which went into making the new parliament building. You must be aware, Pranesh, you're a seasoned journalist, that there are 6 entrances. The Gajadwar, the Ashwadwar, both these symbolize strength, courage and power. Then there is the Makar Dwar, which is a blend of different animals. Then you have the Shardul Dwar, again a blend of different animals signifying unity in diversity. Then you have the Hamsa Dwar, which is basically, Hamsa is the Vahan of Goddess Saraswati. And then you have the Garuda Dwar. Garuda is the Vahan of Lord Vishnu, which represents, the spirit of Dharma. So the limited point I'm making is that a lot of effort has gone into ensuring कि हमारा आदिकाल से लेकर अभी तक की जो journey रही है, in terms of our legacy, our traditions, हमारी परंपरा, all that has been so beautifully captured in this new parliament building. Right. But I have one message for Jairam Ramesh. Jairam Ramesh जी, आज दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन के poll के results निकले, even in a vital student body poll, the Congress was reduced to 1 seat. The BJP got 3 seats, which means BJP has a strike rate of 75%. As long as you continue to be the media and communication cell head and you focus on trivialities, the Congress will keep losing one election after the other. You are doing a good job in ensuring that the Congress is defeated.
Okay.
अरे, you lost Azam.
Point noted, Vivek ji. आपका भी point सुन लिया सबने. We've run out of time, unfortunately. I thank all of you. Sanju Verma, Manish Baryar, Lokesh Jindal, Vivek Sailas for joining us on debate number 1 on the News Hour.
The News Hour Special Edition.